Hi, I'm Loredana Hager and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you how to make a particular sauce with capers and olives, or also known as in Italian, salsa con capperi e olive. This particular sauce is made with a specific type of olive. So I want to first of all show you all the ingredients that are needed for this very quick and easy sauce. First of all, you will need a couple of cloves of garlic. You'll need some salt. You will need a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And then of course the two key ingredients are the capers. They're usually, when you buy these, they're in brine, so they're full of salt. So you want to make sure that they are rinsed very well. And of course then the olives. These are called Gaeta olives. And Gaeta is a town in the province of Latina, which is found in the region of Lazio. And this is just northwest of Naples, of Italy, and the town of Gaeta. And these are olives that are known from that region. Now, they will need to be pitted. You can substitute this type of olive with Kalamata olives, but I find it a little bit too strong. As well, you could find some just regular black olives that you can find in a can and a jar, but again, they're not as flavorful as of these type of olives. I have a hard time finding them in the store, but you can purchase them online. And then, of course, to make the sauce, you will need some peeled tomatoes, but specifically the San Marzano. They're in a can, and so I will show you how we'll put all these three ingredients together. The sauce, once it's prepared, you can serve it either with a particular type of pasta that I like, which is called bucatini, and it's kind of hollow type of pasta. If you can't find bucatini, of course, you can serve it over spaghetti. So we will start with the first step in getting the sauce ready. So follow me and I will show you the first phase of this wonderful sauce. So here's the first phase of the sauce. I have put the amount of olive oil that I mentioned earlier, a couple tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil in this pot, and a couple of garlic cloves. I've cut them a couple pieces, and I'm going to give it just a few minutes to flavor the oil. I don't want them to get too dark because they will burn and will not smell nice, and I do not plan to leave the garlic inside, so I will remove it once it starts getting lightly brown. Then once I remove the garlic, we will add the tomatoes that are in this can, and I'll show you how to make a more smooth puree. I use the sieve, or in Italian called passatutto. So you can see using the sieve, it has caught all the little seeds and some of the peel, and then it's coming at the bottom here, all the nice pureed. It just makes the sauce smoother and also lets it cook much quicker and really get rich and thick. That's what you want. So once you're finished with that step, we're going to put it back onto the stove here, and I wanted to bring it to a boil. And once it brings to a boil, then you want to lower the flame and let it simmer till it thickens. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt. Now, I want to go light on the salt for now because the capers are quite salty and so are the olives. So I'd rather add it toward the end rather than add too much salt. So we're just going to have to be patient. Wait until it boils, bring it down to simmer, and let it continue slowly. We will be adding the capers and the olives about 2/3 of the way through. And I will show you what the sauce should be looking like when we add it. So the sauce has come to a boil, and I just lowered the temperature so that it simmers. What I'm doing, I'm also adding a couple of fresh basil leaves just to flavor the sauce. I will remove it toward the end. It just gives it another fresh flavor. So I'm just going to cover this, and we will go over to the counter and I'll show you how I prepare the olives and the capers that will be added in about 20 minutes or so. So as I showed you earlier, I'm using Gaeta olives. It's important that they get pitted, and I use this tool. They're fairly small, so it would be hard to try to cut the pulp, and so it's very easy. You want to make sure that all the pits are out. Certainly you don't want anybody to break a tooth when they're having the sauce. And so once you get rid of all the pits, and as I said, it's about 6 tablespoons. 6 tablespoons of olive oil, olives to about a couple of tablespoons of capers, and this is about a good amount for 4 people. So once I've done all that, as you can see, I've chopped them up in fairly small pieces, but not too small because you want them to be well mixed in with the capers. The capers, as I mentioned earlier, are in brine, so I have rinsed them really well. You want to make sure that all the salt that's around them has been removed. And so I will finish cutting these up and removing the pits, and we'll wait, and then I will show you when I add it to the sauce. The sauce has now been simmering for almost 30 minutes, and so I'm ready to add the olives and the capers. As I've shown you earlier, I've pitted all of them, and they've all been cut up in small pieces. And the capers as well, they've been rinsed 2 or 3 times to get rid of all the salt. So I'm just going to add it in the sauce. I've removed the couple of basil leaves that I added earlier, so nobody will be eating basil. They just want to taste the olives and the capers. So I add this toward the end. As you can see, I want to show you a little closer here how thick the sauce is getting, and I will be tasting it in about 5 or 10 minutes just to make sure that there is enough salt, that it's not so salty before I add any more to flavor it. So you want this to continue simmering, and while this is taking place, I've placed a pot of water, and you can see it's boiling. So I'm going to be throwing in the bucatini, and so while the bucatini cook, the sauce will continue to be flavored by the olives and the capers. As I showed you earlier, the bucatini, I'm not sure you can see, they're not too bigger than or thicker than spaghetti. Well, actually they are thicker, but they're kind of hollow inside. And I like to weigh my pasta. I weigh about a couple of ounces per person, so I've got about 4 ounces in here. And I put plenty of salt in the water. So I'm going to wait until it gets softer and push them down. And I will show you how I like to cook them al dente, meaning that they're not quite totally cooked through and through. And so when they're ready to be taken out, when they're al dente, they are ready, and then we will be adding the sauce. So I will wait until this gets a little softer, because I like to get all of it in the water. And we will be back a little later, and I'll show you as I'm ready to take them out, when I take them out, how they look. I want to show you how I check if they're al dente. So I'll take one of the noodles and I'll break it, and there's hardly any white in the middle, and I'm going to try it. It's nice and firm, so I think they are done. So that's the trick. You want to make sure that you barely see any white left when you look in the middle of the noodle. So I'm going to turn this off. I will drain this. The sauce here has become nice and thicker, and I actually tasted it, and I wanted to make sure that there was enough salt, and I actually added a little more. And again, it's to your taste. Always add it at the end because of the capers and olives already having quite a bit of salt. We'll put this together and we'll show you how to enjoy it. So this is ready, and I'm going to just spoon this wonderful sauce. I like it quite a bit, and since there is plenty to go around, I want to make sure that I get enough of the wonderful olives and capers and the sauce. This is a wonderful dish. It didn't take very long, as you can see, only a very couple of key ingredients. And now it's time to eat it, of course. It's going to be hot and kind of messy, and it's a great thing that I do have an apron because you can't splatter yourself with when you're eating bucatini. Because they're hollow, they can retain a lot of the water in the sauce. This is delicious. I hope you try this recipe. Let me know how it goes. Buon appetito!